Nikolaus Ernst Hornig, who was an officer in a police battalion. In June 1941, Hornig was ordered to go to an officer training course for the security police, Schutzpolizei. Membership of the SS was expected, but he refused and even criticized Nazi policies such as Lebensbaum and the existence of the nearby Dachau concentration camp. In mid-October 1941, Hornig was ordered here to Lublin in the General Government of Poland to work with Police Battalion 306. In September 1941, SS Obergruppenführer Kurt der Lüge, chief of the Order Police, ordered his unit to shoot prisoners of war from the Soviet Union. At the end of October 1941, Hornig himself received the order as platoon commander of the 2nd Company of the battalion. He was ordered to shoot 780 prisoners of war, soldiers of the Red Army, in a forest near Zamość, who were regarded as political officers or Jews and previously had been chosen by the security police and the SD from Stalag 325 to be shot. Hornig reported to his battalion commander, Ernst Dreyer, that he had to refuse this order as it contradicted international law and also Section 47 of the applicable military penal code. The execution of a criminal order is expressly forbidden. He also requested that a disciplinary investigation be taken against himself in order to be able to refrain from such liquidation actions. Hornig referred to this provision of the military penal code. If a criminal law is violated by the execution of an order in official matters, the superior issuing the order is solely responsible for this. However, the subordinate who obeys is subject to the participant's punishment if he was aware that the superior's order concerned an act which aimed at a general or military crime or misdemeanor. His superior's reaction to the refusal to obey orders initially consisted of playing it down. Hornig will certainly acquire the necessary toughness for deployment in the East and will learn to carry out such orders in the near future, was the general attitude. As far as this specific impending action was concerned, he could discuss carrying out the execution order with SS Untersturmführer Meyert, the leader of a police cavalry platoon in the battalion, on the spot. Hornig met Meyert in Zamość and told him that he would not carry out an illegal order. In addition, Hornig assembled his own platoon, explained to the police officers under him why he refused to take part in such shootings, and citing Section 47 of the Military Criminal Code, pointed out that every subordinate had the right to refuse an order that was criminal. He frequently complained and tried to have his men hinder murders and expulsions, complaining of communist-style methodology. Since Hornig also held the position of a court officer in the police battalion and as such attempted to punish looting by battalion members, he was arrested in January 1942 because of his anti-SS and anti-police attitudes. Hornig was suspended from duty, and after 3 months, when the report from his superiors arrived from Lublin, he was accused of having undermined the armed forces by informing the police officers under him about his refusal to shoot Soviet prisoners of war, and expressly pointing out that according to Section 47 of the Military Criminal Code, they also had the option of refusal. He also made anti-SS statements by equating police methods with Soviet GPU methods. Because of these allegations, he was first imprisoned in Frankfurt in a police prison in May 1942 and then was handed over to the Dusseldorf police prison. The official indictment was not handed to him until the autumn of 1942. In it, according to Section 5, Paragraph 1.2 of the War Special Criminal Law Ordinance, in connection with Section 102 of the Military Criminal Code, he was charged with, and I quote, "In November 1941 he undertook to undermine discipline in the German Wehrmacht and aroused dissatisfaction in relation to service amongst his comrades, as well as an anti-SS and anti-police attitude expressed through speech and behaviour." Hornig was transferred to the police prison in Kassel in September 1942. The hearing took place in May 1943 before the SS police court in Kassel. The prosecution asked for 5 years in prison, and Hornig was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. However, since the verdict required confirmation by the Reichsführer SS Heinrich Himmler, Hornig was transferred back to Frankfurt. After an interview with the chief of the main office of the SS court in Munich, SS Gruppenführer Franz Breithaupt, Hornig obtained approval for a retrial. In the meantime, he was denounced for listening to foreign radio stations, and for this offence he was sent first to the police prison in Mainz, and from here in July 1944 to Buchenwald concentration camp. In a hearing before the SS court at Buchenwald concentration camp, at which SS Obersturmbannführer Werner Paulmann appeared as the prosecutor, he was sentenced to 5 years and 7 months in prison for undermining the military force and military disobedience, and ordered to remain in the concentration camp. US troops liberated him from the concentration camp on the 11th of April 1945. It needs to be pointed out that the reason he was sent to Buchenwald was not his refusal to murder people, nor for pointing out to those under his command that they would be punished for carrying out an illegal order, but rather for listening to foreign radio broadcasts. In the 1960s and 1970s, Hornig made himself available as a witness to various trials against former members of the Order Police and SS who were accused of war crimes in the occupied East. Hornig stated that it was not true that a police member ran the risk of being sentenced to death and also executed within the framework of the special SS and police jurisdiction for refusing a criminal order, as was repeatedly claimed by perpetrators in their trials. It needs to be pointed out that most killers may not have been aware of the law and that they had the right to refuse. That is not the case, of course, as far as the Einsatzgruppen commanders, who, as lawyers, as many of them were, would be expected to know the law and its application. There are around 100 examples of Germans and Austrians refusing to carry out criminal orders and not being punished for it. I upload every Friday at 2000 hours Central European time, and sometimes I upload at other times as well. So if you're interested to hear more stories such as this from the period of Nazi Germany and indeed communist Soviet Union, then you might want to subscribe. So if you press the subscribe button and the bell, then you'll know when I'm uploading. Thanks very much for listening, and all the best for me.